Guys, this is Little Biz Homestead, and this is Patricia, and welcome back to my channel, or my little short thing. Um, I was a little upset. As you know from some of my other videos, and you could look, I do have several videos on sourdough because I like working with sourdough. I fresh mill my flour, and I sell actually, this is Henry. This is actually, I sell dehydrated starters on my website, and I got several different places where I've gotten them from: Wales, Ireland, Oregon Trail, different varieties. You know, they're all basically, you make sourdough your own. It's just the novelty of it. But Henry I've had since I first started getting back into sourdoughing, and I dehydrate him so I could have backup. Well, I had a little bit of an issue. I had bought this sourdough home here, and it's been really working really well. I mean, you could adjust the temperature. You keep it at 46 like your refrigerator, and you don't have to keep opening and closing your refrigerator door. It sits on your counter, and if you want to put your sourdough to sleep or keep it cold because you don't want to feed it all the time, it doesn't have a lot of room, but it fits this jar or a bigger jar, and it's at 70 right now. But this is the second time this has happened since I've had this. And you could bump these numbers, touch these numbers, you know, accidentally and mess up your temperature. And this last time I came in, and then I didn't check it every day because I just fed my sourdough and I had it in there. I came into my kitchen, and this degree, it was 99 degrees Fahrenheit in this thing. I don't know how it got to be 99 degrees Fahrenheit. But this starter was completely liquefied and flat and just runny. There was no life in it. And I use my sourdough to make my sourdough pancakes. I use it mostly to make my sourdough fresh milled honey wheat bread. I always put my sourdough in it. And I like to keep it active because even locally I'll sell some sourdough. And I thought this was dead. That's the reason why Henry's out here, because I thought I might have to start my sourdough all over. I was going to grind this up and start another sourdough starter, but it takes time to get it established, to get it, even though it's an active starter, when I dehydrate it, it won't take near as long as if you just don't have an active dehydrated starter. This is an active dehydrated starter. And actually, I've actually used this one, and I've dehydrated this even a year ago, or 2024. I made some fresh batch. This dehydrator will stay good for a couple years. I've used it and made starters with it, you know, just grinding up and starting it, because it's vacuum sealed right now, you know. So I would have to pop the sealant. That's what that vacuum sealer is. So I'd have to reseal it. It's got the things in there to keep the moisture out. But so I fed this, I measured it, I got my scale out, and I took like 50 grams of that flat, runny, no life to it starter, and put 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour in it. And it's been very, very slow responding, but I saw some life, like it wasn't completely dead, that I might not have to start completely over at the very beginning. And this is, I fed it this morning. This is when I decided to try to revive it, because I was getting ready to pour it out in the garbage can, and as I was stirring it, I saw some little, you know, signs of life, little tiny bubbles, very faint. And so I marked it this time, because if it didn't rise at all, I was going to go ahead and start Henry over again. But I marked it where I filled it. So it is risen some, and you can see the top, if you can see there. It does have some bubbles in there. I'm going to let it sit overnight outside this home. I do have like 73 degrees where my air conditioner sits. But I'm not going to use the home for this. I'm just going to let it sit out, you know, on my table or somewhere at room temperature, and see if it rises any more than that. It'll put a little film on this glass so I can let it know how. I'll take it out and redo the 50 grams and 100 again tomorrow, and see if I could revive it even more. Because when you're making bread or anything that you want to, you know, pancakes you could do a discard with, as long as it's sort of halfway active. But with bread, you need it to rise more than this. So I do have one loaf in the freezer, so I want to make sure I get this taken care of and active enough to bake my bread with. I do put yeast in my sourdough bread as well, so it's not the sole support of the risen. You know, it doesn't have the total responsibility for the rise, but I still like it active because it makes me happy when I see it bubble. And I was going to go on the side, and it's very tiny, but you can see the bubbles there. So it's not dead. And I'm going to put Henry back up. But this time, I think even if I use the sourdough home, I'm going to keep and make a bigger batch of the sourdough starter and really get it really thick and use that as a base or a backup in case something like this happens again. So you could revive one that goes dormant in your refrigerator. You could take some out, and it's a quicker to get it to rise quick enough to bake with. It's quicker than starting over at the beginning. So I'm going to keep some sourdough in my regular refrigerator. And you could keep one up, I guess, up to a month, or discard, or even a couple months. I hear stories where people keep them a long time. But this makes me happy, guys. There is signs of life. So I'm excited. I messed up my thing because I turned it upside down. But I'm going to keep it here. It's still cool to the touch. And I'm going to keep it out, and I'm going to not let it get too hot, like 73 in the house. And I'm going to go ahead and feed it again in the morning. I'm not going to feed it tonight, but I'll see how much it rises tomorrow after I feed it the same amount. Pour off the extra until I just have 50 grams. 50 grams of starter. And then I'm going to do 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour and restructure it. Try to build it back up to that consistency where it'll rise bread. But I was bummed out, and I thought all was lost, but this has given me some hope. So, God bless you until next time. And, just when you think you've done killed your sourdough, there is some hope. So, this is just my testimony of that. And I mean, my sourdough was really, really bad. I mean, the jar was warm, hot almost. And like I said, you could run it off. It looked like just water and flour. It didn't have anything when I noticed it. But I'm glad I thought, because you smell it, that it was burned and it was completely dead. But I did revive it some. So this gives me hope. And I'll come back maybe with another shorter clip when I get it to rise. And I'll do the same Henry here, my same starter, and before I bake bread, and I'll show you how much it's risen. So God bless you until next time. Bye.